Konnichiwa, Japan fans. Today's show, we are going to be talking about AI and storytelling. Eigo desu. それでは行きましょう. So let's get going. This is the 8th year of the Sales Japan Series podcast, broadcasting around the world from the Beverly Hills of Japan, Minatoku, here in downtown Tokyo. It is chic central. I'm your host, Dr. Greg Story, Dale Carnegie Tokyo franchise owner, the president of Dale Carnegie Tokyo Training, and the 3-time best-selling author of Japan Sales Mastery, which is Zaegyo in Japanese, Japan Business Mastery, and Japan Presentations Mastery, or in Japanese, Anatamo Present no Tachijin. Plus, Stop Wasting Money on Training, which in Japanese is Training de Okane o Muda ni suru no wa yamimashou. And all are available on Amazon. In this podcast, I want to help you to survive and even better, thrive in business. I want you to 1, sell more and do it more easily. 2, exceed your targets. In fact, let's blow up your targets. Number 3, make some serious money. Don't forget to subscribe and share this podcast with your family, friends, and colleagues. We're not being sponsored by Libsyn, but we value your privacy, which is why we have our podcast hosted by Libsyn. Unlike many other hosting organizations, Libsyn have a strict policy that does not allow access to your private information by anyone. Here is our daily podcast lineup on Apple Podcasts. Mondays, the Cutting Edge Japan Business Show podcast. Tuesday, the Presentations Japan series. And every second Tuesday, the Business Tachijin no Oshie Show. Wednesdays, the Sales Japan series. Thursdays, the Leadership Japan series. And every second Thursday, the Business Pro Podcast Show. Fridays, the Japan Business Mastery Show podcast. Saturdays, Japan's top business interviews. Now, this is episode number 368. Today we're talking about AI-created content is average, so add your storytelling. AI has opened the floodgates to allow any idiot to create content. If content marketing is an important vehicle for promoting your credibility in business, then be concerned. Most content is currently created by people who are literate. That is, they can write the pieces themselves. One notable exception is Gary Vaynerchuk, and I'm a big fan. He is prolific as a creator of content, including best-selling books, and readily admits he cannot read or write well. However, he's really able to talk. As you say in Australia, he can talk under wet concrete with a mouthful of roofing nails. He has others transcribe his comments and clean up what he says. This then becomes his output in text format. A funny irony is that he doesn't read his own text when he records the audio versions for his books. He basically speaks the book again so that the two versions are never the same. Anyway, his speaking idea to create content is not a bad one if writing is not your forte. There are no longer barriers to entry for text content because of AI. At the moment, anyone can command the machine to produce content for them, and they can upload this as their own work. Well, we had this before, didn't we? When people were using ghostwriters. I remember reading a really good article by an Aussie guy I knew here in Tokyo. Let's call him Mr. X. I was surprised by the quality. Frankly, I didn't think he was that smart or that articulate. In fact, he wasn't. A paid professional wrote that piece for him, and then he put his own name on it. The difference with AI is it is cheap, fast, prolific, and good enough to pump out standard content. Now, if you're trying to show potential buyers that you're an expert in your field by uploading relevant text content to social media, expect that all of your rivals will be able to do exactly the same thing using AI. In fact, expect a flood of new content into social media by your rivals. How can we differentiate ourselves in this frothy red ocean? The bad news is that AI can produce generic content at scale and speed. The good news is the rivals are all tapping into exactly the same sources for their content, so they cannot easily differentiate themselves as a consequence. It is going to be mass plagiarism on a grand scale. To stand out from the crowd, the missing secret sauce here is you. When creating content, you must inject your ideas, experiences, insights, feelings, observations, and examples into the text. AI cannot do this. It cannot be you at the creation point. Yes, it can write content in your style, but it still isn't you. It didn't see what you saw today or experience what happened to you today. Find out more. We come back from the break. Our show today is brought to you by our public courses, and we also have custom in-house programs as well as both in Japanese and English. We do classes in our super safe classroom and we do them live online. Our show today is being brought to you by, on the 3rd of February, we'll have our Dale Carnegie course, 12-week version. On the 15th of February, our Leadership Training for Managers course, 3-day version. On the 19th and 20th, we'll have our High Impact Presentations course. On March 1st, we'll have another Dale Carnegie course 12-week version. Go to our website at japan-dalecarnegie.co.jp. That's Japan, Japan, hyphen, Dale, D-A-L-E, Carnegie, CARNEGIE.co.jp. Get my best-selling books. Japan Sales Mastery, which in Japanese is Zaegyo. This is the Bible for selling in Japan. Japan Business Mastery, Japan Presentations Mastery, which is Anatomo Present no Tatsujin in translation. Plus, Stop Wasting Money on Training, which in Japanese is Training de Okane o Murini Sunu wa Yamemashou. And all available from Amazon. If you like learning by watching videos, we have over 2,300 there for you at Tokyo, Japan, Dale Carnegie TV on YouTube. We release 3 TV shows every week on YouTube. The Cutting Edge Japan Business Show, the premier business show in Japan, every Monday, Tokyo time. Fridays, we have the Japan Business Mastery Show. And on Saturdays, we release Japan's top business interviews, where I interview leaders from SMEs all the way up to the corporate captains of industry on one topic, leading in Japan. Every second Thursday, we release the Business Pro Television Show. You can email me at greg.story@dalecarnegie.com. That's Greg, G-R-E-G, .story, S-T-O-R-Y, @dalecarnegie.com. Welcome back. Basically, it comes down to not just our writing ability, but more importantly, our storytelling craft. The stories we can tell will be what will differentiate what we are saying from the grey blob, massive AI-generated sameness polluting our creative world. Perhaps you are not used to sharing things about yourself publicly. Get over that idea. We all need to personalize our content much more, and that means injecting ourselves into the picture. It is easy to pontificate. I know. I do a lot of that on the subjects of leadership, sales, presentations, communication, and DEI. Apart from preaching what we believe, we need to insert our stories into the content to ward off AI-derived competitor pontificating. They may be our own stories or stories from other people's experiences. Doesn't matter. As long as the content reflects a personal approach, something which is not generic in the slightest. This requires us to start working on collecting our stories rather than just moving forward in an orderly manner every day. Things are happening around us all day long, and we need to spend some time to capture them for use in our creative work. Gary Vaynerchuk was very clever. He realized he was not going to sit down and write stuff out. So he decided to capture what he was doing every day and turn this into his content, called the Daily V. He has Daniel Rock, aka D-Rock, follow him around all day, videoing his activities. Always has D-Rock video his keynote speeches for the same reason. Behind him, there is a 30-person team, Team Gary crew, who work on this content and slice and dice it to feed Gary's social media machine. Genius. I don't have Team Greggy of 30 people to do that for me, and you are probably in the same boat. But what we can do is start collecting what happens in real life. We can generate stories to add to the point of view pieces we publish. These events happen every day, but we don't record them and allow ourselves to access them to add as a special spice into our content creation. These stories are items that AI cannot create because they are your stories, and you are the only one who knows about them. To deflect the tsunami of AI-generated content, which is about to consume the entire world, we need to start work on how we can stand apart from the dross. Maybe in the future, AI will also start generating stories based on what sweeps up from the internet, but still, it won't have your stories from today. Maybe it can eventually capture and use your stories from the past, but we can always be one jump ahead of the machine. Think storytelling when you're observing the world around you, and make some notes as prompts to tell those stories. Start collecting them now and look for other people's stories to tell to make your point, like I did with Gary Vaynerchuk and Mr. X for this particular content creation. AI will homogenize everything in this field, and we cannot stop it. Instead, we have to be clever and find ways of differentiating our content and keep ourselves at the forefront so that AI and our rivals are always in our creative wake. Thank you for joining the Sales Japan series. If you found the program useful, then please work on your karma and share this with your family, friends, and colleagues. Don't forget to subscribe and share this podcast. Immediately apply what you've learned. Go out there and survive. Use it and make some serious money. Bucks, dough, moolah, coin, dosh, lolly, readies, smackers, earners, and bread and honey. Remember, I'm in your corner, your go-to guy for soft skills training in Tokyo, committed to your success here in Nippon.